have been on YouTube for a long time now, and this channel has generated over 8 figures in revenue for my business and thousands of clients throughout the years. And I have come to learn in studying this platform, being a guinea pig on this platform, and supporting thousands of business owners and entrepreneurs and leveraging YouTube for their own businesses, that there is one really key tactic. And if you ignore it, if you don't do this, you are going to be stuck, frustrated, and probably give up, maybe just on YouTube, but maybe in your business in general, because you just can't seem to attract clients or leads. So I want to share what that number one tactic is today and go deep into it so that you can start leveraging it for your own business. If you don't know, this is the place to be to create a peaceful, purposeful, and profitable online education business. I help people take their skill set and expertise, package it into a highly impactful, profitable, and scalable online education business or online course. And I've supported people in so many different niches, and a big part of how we help them scale once they have a proven program is by leveraging YouTube itself. So if that's something that you're really interested in doing, I've actually created a free guide for you to bring this all together. The 10 steps to scale your skill set and 10x your impact without trading time for money, and you can grab it in the link in the description below. All right, if you are excited about this, we can dig into this number one tactic. Give this video a like, be sure to subscribe, and let's get into it. So the number one tactic, and it sounds very simple, but ultimately it comes down to the fundamentals of YouTube. It's algorithm categorization mixed with traffic sources. So what the heck do I mean by that? Well, let's start by understanding how YouTube works, specifically when you are a business owner, entrepreneur, and you're using this to generate clients. I am not talking to the creator audience that is trying to go viral at all times and is only generating revenue through AdSense. That's not the game I play. I find it exhausting and it's not for me. So I find this game way easier to control, and I've been doing it for a long time. So let's dig into what this actually looks like. So when it comes to YouTube, there are 3 key traffic sources. There is search, suggested, and browse. So why is this so important to understand? Well, because oftentimes people are trying to go after these 2 traffic sources without understanding how vitally important this one is. And as an entrepreneur or business owner on YouTube, search is always and will always be your very best friend. And I dug into this in last week's video in even further detail of why that's so important and how you can use it to your advantage. But in this video, I want to make sure that you truly understand this tactic so that you can leverage it for your channel and for your business. So it starts with search traffic. In order to grow on YouTube, not just in terms of vanity metrics, but in terms of reaching the right people so that those folks that find your videos actually turn into paying clients and customers and lifelong fans of your brand or your business, you have to focus on search. And what that means is focusing on topics that are highly relevant to your ideal client. So they're topics that they would be looking for in terms of solving a problem that they have, fixing a pain point or a challenge that they're facing, answering any questions they have about what you do and how you do it. And ultimately, you have to think about it in the sense that YouTube is a search engine owned by the largest search engine in the world. So that's the fundamental usage of this platform. And when you lean into that as an entrepreneur, it works so in your favor because it ultimately makes it free advertising for you. And you get to show up with your free organic content, your videos, everywhere your clients are looking or your potential clients are looking. So you start with search, which is very keyword focused topics. From there, as you start to build authority around the keywords that you want to be known for, so you need to know who you're trying to reach and what you want to be known for before you start making content, because you want to make sure that you're feeding the algorithm with that information. And I'll explain why that's so important in just a second. From there, you ultimately are going to start gaining suggested traffic. And so what happens is, as you start to feed the algorithm with the topic that you want to be known for, and every title and every video is relevant to that topic and to the ideal client you're trying to attract, it then tells the algorithm, okay, so this is who they're trying to reach, this is what they want to be known for. So we're going to then push their videos in suggested traffic sources so that it's showing up for more people who are like that and who would be interested. So it starts pushing your content for you. And suggested means that you're showing up beside videos of people in your industry or people who are talking about the same topic. So you're kind of stealing and taking traffic from them, not in a bad way, but you're starting to really leverage their audiences to focus on your own and to bring people to your channel and your content. From there, once you have the base of search and you start to get picked up in suggested traffic, ultimately it leads to browse. The suggested traffic is going to push your videos, any new content that you make, back to the folks who first discover you in search. And then it's also going to start pushing you in browse, which means that you're showing up on the homepage, you're showing up everywhere that your ideal client could potentially be looking. So you're being discovered by more and more folks who are the right people for your business without you having to put in any extra effort. And this is all built off the very base of this number one tactic, which is creating highly relevant content, leveraging keyword strategy, leveraging specific topics for your ideal client. Okay, so that's starting to make sense? Let me know in the comments below if you have a specific topic that you want to become the authority for on YouTube. Write it in the comments below right now. So why is this so important to have algorithm categorization for your channel? Because if you don't have this, ultimately you are just constantly trying to reinvent the wheel, throw spaghetti at the wall, and none of your videos are actually working for you, or worse than that, they're not able to impact or be seen by the people who need you most. So I created this little flywheel for YouTube impact and momentum as an entrepreneur, and it starts with viewer. So knowing who your ideal viewer is before you create any content is absolutely necessary. It's not optional, it's necessary. And I speak from experience of so many mistakes that I've made on my own channel as a guinea pig and helping so many people. And when you start in the right way, we have clients who have very small channels, very, very small, and they're generating tens of thousands of dollars. Sometimes they're generating hundreds of thousands of dollars a month just from generating leads and clients from that very small base of viewers and subscribers because they're so targeted. So knowing exactly who you're targeting and then making hyper relevant content for that ideal client, not for the masses, not for everybody, not going broad, not going surface level, relevant content for the right people. From there, what happens? The algorithm categorizes you so that it can then go, okay, I know what this channel is all about and I know who it's trying to reach, because ultimately you have to think social media platforms, they're driven by data, and the algorithms need to categorize you based off of a bunch of different metadata and touch points that are happening. And so it needs to know who you're trying to reach, what do you want to be known for, so that we can help you grow without you putting in more effort. So the more content you're making for your ideal viewer, the more the algorithm knows how to categorize you. Then what happens is the real magic. Then the traffic sources, pop quiz, what are the traffic sources? I'm just kidding. If you want to comment below with the answer, brownie points for you. But search, suggested, and browse. The algorithm then knows through the traffic sources who to push you to. Therefore, you're getting more ideal viewers, you're being categorized, you're being pushed to more of those folks who need your relevant content the most, which is gaining more momentum for the channel. And most importantly, what it's doing, it's gaining more authority for the channel. So it's categorizing your channel in a specific space so that you become the number one go-to option in that space. So one thing that you really need to understand here is, in order to really grow as an entrepreneur on YouTube and business owner, and not just grow, but also attract leads and clients and everything on autopilot, it is not about owning a bunch of different topics and titles and categories on your channel. It's about owning one. So being very specific on what you want to be known for, because then everything starts to work for you. And this is how you start to generate leads and clients in your sleep, because you're being discovered in all of these different places that they're looking through the traffic sources. So think to yourself, the more similar your topics are, the more that you're creating little sequences in the back end of YouTube and in the algorithm to say, this is who I am trying to reach. And it's ultimately helping your channel. You're not being repetitive. You're ultimately serving your folks that need you the most and showing up for them in all the places that they're looking. Now, one way to test if this is actually working on your channel is you can go into the back end of your channel and you can see what your viewers on your channel are actually looking for and how they've landed on your channel. So if you go under the analytics section and you go under research, it's just a really easy thing to start diving into to see, okay, are my topics all over the place from where people are coming from, or are they pretty focused on 1 to 2 topics? Now, in order for the algorithm to work in your favor, there are 2 key factors here, okay? I need you to really hear me on this, because if you don't do this, you're gonna be so frustrated. So there's 2 really key and simple factors that you need to focus on whenever you're creating your content, specifically when you're choosing the title of your video. Does it address who you're trying to reach and what you want to be known for? If it doesn't, you're probably creating broad content that is not going to be easy to categorize, and therefore is going to stagnate your channel and your reach. So yes, your titles on YouTube should be focused on keywords, but it's also about humanizing it so that it's actually speaking to the right people and what you want to be known for. So how to do this, and the system that I created for the folks that I work with and what we do inside of our programs, is it's hi, search volume, low, competition, and then views versus velocity and time. This is the formula and the system that you want to use to create topics and titles that are going to not only appeal to the real human being that you want watching your video on a human level, but also on a data-driven back-end algorithm categorization level as well. And so what this means is high search volume is really relative to the channel you have, but the general rule is if you're starting from zero, you want your search volume to be between 0 and 10,000 searches a month. The reason being is if you choose a topic that has 100,000 searches a month, it's way too big of an ocean and competitive for you to be tackling. And it means that you're just gonna get lost and not seen because you haven't built any authority inside of the algorithm quite yet. Now, low competition is something that's really important because if you think about, okay, there's a ton of people searching for this topic and there's not many people who've made videos on it, that's a real sweet spot. But if you find a topic that has good search volume and then there's also millions and millions and millions and millions of competition videos out there, that's going to create a bit of an issue. So that's the sweet spot. And then the final element which people often miss is you want to really pay attention. Okay, if I'm looking at this video that someone's created and I want to create the same sort of topic, but the video has been up for 2 years, let's say, and the channel has, 5,000 subscribers and it only has 5 views on it, that means that that topic is not really resonating or landing with the folks who you want to reach. So there's a way for you to alter the title or the topic to make sure that it's actually going to land with the right people, or just choose a different topic. Because if there are no views on the video and it's been up that long, it means that it's not getting picked up in any of the traffic sources. And another indication there is you could look at the channel itself and go, oh, well, this person made a video on this topic, but they've never talked about it before. So that can also be a reason why that video wouldn't gain momentum, because it's completely off topic of what that channel is categorized for. So it's a good thing to just dig into as further data as to whether or not the title and the topic for that video are going to resonate and be found by the right people. But the true way to really know if this works is you have to test. But it starts with creating your title first, making sure it addresses the who and the what you're trying to reach, and from there, looking at the data. So human element first, and then data-driven element. Then you want to test it on YouTube, and you at least know that you're giving the algorithm the right information to categorize you, and then you want to look at the metrics to ensure that it's actually resonating and people are watching the video. Now, one of the biggest factors and metrics you want to watch for in terms of if it's resonating is CTR. I've talked about this a lot, but really without CTR, you have nothing else. And if people don't click on your video, then they can't watch it, then they can't subscribe, then they can't do all of these other elements to really prove that they are invested in the topic. So CTR is really important, and it's very different for business owners and entrepreneurs because a really, really high CTR, like anything above a 10 is really high. The average is between 2 to 10. It doesn't necessarily mean that it's a topic that's resonating with your ideal client. It could be a viral topic, which can sometimes lead to trouble because if you create a broad viral topic, what's that telling the algorithm? It's confusing the crap out of it because it's going, well, who are you actually trying to reach? I don't know. And so it doesn't help future videos. Plus, it's going to generate a ton of random subscribers on your channel who won't actually watch any other videos because they came for a broad topic and now you're going specific and they aren't going to be paying attention to it. So it ultimately hurts everything in the long run. So when it comes to CTR, what you really want to pay attention to is separate CTRs in terms of the traffic sources. So a search CTR versus a suggested CTR versus a browse CTR, and see what the percentages are there. And the most important factor is, okay, yes, CTR plays a big role because you want people to click on the video, but it doesn't have to be sky high because you're not trying to appeal to this massive audience. What you want to make sure is that the CTR is actually leading to retention on your videos. And retention means that people are actually clicking on the video and then watching the whole thing. And what does that do? It leads to loyal leads and potential clients for your business because they actually are paying attention, taking their precious time to watch your content, and they're invested in it. And to take that a step further when it comes to CTR and measuring the momentum, you can actually go into the back end of your channel and look at the demographic and who is watching your video. And so that's gonna also help you determine, am I getting the right eyeballs on this video, or am I getting a broad audience that's not really gonna serve me? So hopefully by this point in the video, you're starting to pick up what I'm putting down, which is the more specific you go, the more momentum you're going to gain for your business and the more leads you're going to generate for your business because you're going to show up exactly where your ideal client is looking on YouTube through those traffic sources. Now, something to consider is the more specific you go, the more that you're going to have to adjust your definition of success. So I've mentioned this before, but some of my videos with the lowest views on them, but the highest retention are the ones that have generated the most income in my business and the most amazing clients in my business. So a great example that I always like to use is one of my oldest clients, actually, Heather Robertson. Maybe you've done workouts with her before. I do them all the time. I love her. She is in the fitness space. So when you think about content that you're creating, you can go super top of the funnel in terms of a content funnel. You can go middle and you can go bottom. Top of the funnel is going to be the more broad viral topics. This is going to be a little bit more mature. So it's for somebody who's like maybe a little more well-versed in your category and knows what they want. This is going to be for hot leads. And so I'll give you a prime example here. For Heather, when she started her channel, she could have gone really broad. I help people get fit. I do workouts for people who want to get fit. That would be real hard for her to compete in, because if you look up workout on YouTube, good luck. It's going to be really high search volume, really high competition. You're just going to drown. So you have to find your unique angle and take and exactly who you're looking to reach and what you want to be known for. So she starts to narrow her focus. And really what helped her gain momentum was focusing on HIIT workouts. And so she started to dominate that topic and that category on YouTube itself. She's done incredibly well with her channel. I'm so happy for all of her success. And it's just a really easy example to depict visually how you want to narrow your focus and why it's so important. And this can be driven by doing that proper research I just mentioned, looking at the data behind it. Of course, you want to start with the human element, but looking at the data, you're going to see, okay, this topic has, maybe a smaller search volume behind it, but the competition is also super low, and I'm not competing in the deep end where I'm going to have to fight and cling my way to the top, which probably will never happen. So you want to think of YouTube as, I think about it as the ocean. You want to start in the shallow end and dominate the shallow end and build your authority, because that allows you to become the go-to in that space. And then you can start competing in bigger waters once you've gained that authority. But if you try and jump in the deep end, you're going to drown. And you're never going to be able to rise to the top of the search results or be found in suggested or browse. So I'll go back to one of my favorite things I say all the time. If you've been here for a bit, you know what I'm about to say. Specific equals sales, broad equals broke. So the more specific you go, the more fruitful your channel is going to be for your business. I have a whole playlist I've created for you on leveraging YouTube for your business. And there's one really great example in there of one of our clients who had less than 700 subscribers and was making a full-time income with his business and was able to quit his job. So I hope that gives you some inspiration and helps you understand why this strategy and why this #1 tactic on YouTube is so vitally important. And if you want to bring this all together, be sure to grab my free guide on the 10 steps to scale your skill set and 10x your impact so you can stop trading time for money. It is so thorough. It's totally free. You have nothing to lose. You can grab it in the description below right now. Check out that playlist next. Give this a like if you liked it and enjoyed it and you got a light bulb out of it. Let me know in the comments. They're my love language. I love it. And be sure to subscribe. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.